Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Mike's got Rona. That's not what I was gonna do. I meant to do my Sharona. Na 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 na. There it was, but
Hey,
is in my head, so that's what came out. Na, 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 na.
classic. All right, got the mute there.
And neither I nor my partner sitting beside me is Mike. I know. I'm shocked. Some of you who've been on Discord in the last 24 hours know what's going on. Fill everybody else in shortly, but yes, a couple days ago, I got a message from Mike that said he's really sick and got corona, and he's tested himself twice and went to CCNA and the Mayo Clinic. And where is the Mayo Clinic? Not Iowa, Minnesota, right?
I think that's right.
I went to all of the great physicians on the planet, got national healthcare, signed up for national healthcare in England, and they said to. And so I just sat, wished him all the best and, whatever I can do for you. And then yesterday I got the text that I knew was coming. I've heard him talk. It doesn't even sound. And he said, do the show. Okay, doing the show. He's probably watching right now, cringing. What a I put him on again.
Oh, these guys.
Everybody, it is Monday. Mike has come down under the weather. He is not one of those fortunate people who came down with corona in an asymptomatic format. He's burning the fever and not feeling good and not sounding good. And I've seen pictures of him. That's not good. With a gentleman of his dotage, what is he, like late 80s now? Something
like that.
Sorry if you're watching, Mike. Mike is a young man who just got a bad case of it, and it's unfortunate, and I'm sure that he will recover very quickly. I have no reason to suspect that he won't be here on Wednesday as normal. So I am Dave Rush. I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars. I am Mike's instructional minion, if you will. We don't do a lot of instruction these days, so he lets me fill in for him in these things, and otherwise I do a lot of other side jobs. Beside me, we have
Andrew Hutz. I'm an editor, writer, person who does things that other people maybe don't want to always do. I do all kinds of things at Total Seminars. So one of those things is I fill in sometimes when Mike and or Dave are not available. So that's what I'm doing here.
I just made a change to my system. Hopefully that's an improvement. I heard some really stuttery audio for which I totally get the blame. Hey, well, here real quick then, this is an Ask Me Anything. It's a Mike Meyers Ask Me Anything. We're just not Mike, but we can fill in for the big shoes in most of the areas that he likes to talk about. CompTIA certifications in all of its flavors, trifecta and above and beyond. Anything else technical that tickles your fancy. If it's not religion and it's not politics, we are pretty much game to talk about it. Excuse me. What is that doing? I'm going to do Mike's show. It's not going to be perfect on my side. I had such a good show on Friday. I'm not here to plug my show, but on Fridays also, and if you missed this last Friday's show, we put Android on a Raspberry Pi, and I'm supposed to be working on my next show at night, but I've had so much stupid fun with it that I haven't done any development on a new show just because I'm enjoying like crazy playing with Android. Did you get to mess around with that, Andrew?
No, I haven't got a chance to yet. I was gone all weekend, so I was out and about. My brother graduated from his computer science degree, so that was exciting. So a lot of that kind of stuff going on, family stuff. So it was fun. Nice weekend.
All right. Well, it isn't Ask Me Anything. So easiest way to do that is to type something into the chat field here, the YouTube chat. If you don't want to do that, there are other ways by which you can communicate with myself and with Andrew and with Mike. Let me share that with you quickly, and then we'll just get right on into questions for the rest of the day. We hit the share screen button. We click on this thing. I didn't know you were going to be here, Andrew. I would have had a slide up with your stuff on it.
That's all good.
So I am Dave Rush. I work for totalseminars.com, and therefore my email is daver@totalsem.com. I don't work for totalseminars.com. I work for TotalSem. Something like that. You get the idea. And you can contact me personally at drushtx@yahoo.com. Mike is always available, loves to get your emails. He's been very busy of late before he got sick, but he's gathering up emails as you send them in to either answer directly or on the show or whatever. So he's Michael Meyers, works for Total Seminars, Michael M@totalsem.com. And of course, since we have Andrew Hutz here, who works for Total Seminars, he's Andrew H@com. If you do any of the other names of any of the other people that work at Total Seminars, you would now know how to send them an email. And I encourage you to do that. They encourage you to do that. I am so going to get contacted by everybody in the What did you do? Why am I getting 35 emails? All right, who's here? Andre DeGoyer, by the way, hit your live chat on the YouTube channel and pop it out. Make sure you got timestamps on so you'll know when we are and where we are. Andrew DeGoyer got here an hour and 7 minutes before the show ever started. Of course, you know, he's 31 time zones. Now it's probably 6 a.m. He's been up all night just waiting for this moment. So Andre, thanks for being first. Followed very shortly, not surprisingly, by Tulowit on the other side of America, right? Because we're like the central of everything. So Tulowit's over in Paradise in Hawaii. What is it? Now I forgot how to say. What's the Hawaiian greeting, Andrew?
Aloha.
Oh, thank you. I was dropping into Middle Eastern idioms. I was all set. Shalom and salam alaikum. It probably is the same. Dave Rush, he posted a message there. Hey, he's a good guy. I like that guy. You made the beaver cheese, huh? Anybody get that reference? You get the beaver cheese reference? Oh, yeah. Somebody post where that came from. I know Tulowit knows. I know ancient references from the 60s and 70s is our bailiwick. Let's see. You are a part owner of a small beaver farm in Venezuela. It's fine. There's an auction that's going in the next day or two. Speaking of beavers, when the missus and I were young and just becoming Misters and Mrs., our cutesy little thing was beavers. We would get, you know, I love you cards and Valentine's Day cards and birthday cards with beavers on them. And, you know, after 30 some odd years of this sort of gone by the wayside, but every now and again, I'll run into something like a beaver or look up a beaver. I've spent a lot of time doing beaver searches. That's something else so wrong, but it's not intended to be, because good cowboy hats have a high percentage of beaver felt in them. And so I've been on the hunt for a really good cowboy hat for some time. And yesterday I was on one of my favorite sites looking up beavers, and I found a stuffed beaver that's for sale. And it's not. They misnomered it, I'm very happy to say, and nobody's bidding on it. I'm going to, God willing, get it tomorrow. It's the groundhog from Caddyshack, and it's the dancing. Watch for that in the upcoming future on my set. Andre's talking to Tulowit, asking about life on the island. Oh boy. Tulowit was gardening this morning. You don't have to garden in Paradise. Everything just grows there. Who else is amongst us? Cab driver. Young lady. Cab driver. Cab would be an Uber, and it would float. Hi, not Mike. Thanks, TD Washington. Oh, I super scrolled. There we go. Everybody want to be like Mike. I know. I was thinking about I was gonna cut it all off, but I just waiting for it to go naturally, like Mike did. Yeah. Live. Anatevka. Antevka. There we go. Anatevka. I can say that now. Savage Cabbage. Still waiting to get in touch with you on Discord, Savage Cabbage, because we have got to talk about your name, not just how you picked it, but I have 2 things that I have created 4x2 and with your name, none of which I can discuss on open forums. Donald Dink is here. And he thinks it's good to see us. Oh, Captain.
Good to see us. I'm always happy with that.
How does the web of trust work? Oh, man.
Ooh.
You win, buddy. You're sharper on that and more current on it than I am.
All right. Well, web of trust is it's an alternative to public key infrastructure that's used at times. And the way it basically works is that it's kind of structured almost like a network, like in computers. It's a computer network that, how to explain this best, in which various users, are authenticated to one another. So and then other users on that network may authenticate based on trust between others. So it creates this web where all these systems trust each other for some purpose or another. Cryptography and key algorithms, all that stuff. I'm very, very bad at the cryptography side of things. But what I will say is that it's not particularly popular. I don't know how often you'll see them out and about. You're much more likely to see people talking about zero trust these days than a web of trust. But effectively, if you are part of the web, you are trusted for whatever it may be that you're authenticating for. And as a result of that, you can make use of whatever resource. So it could be for an entire network share. It could be for some particular use case, but web of trust kind of functions in a way where people can make those connections, and the trust or access that they have is based on being a part of that web. As opposed to zero trust, in which you're not part of anything and you have to authenticate every time you want to do something, which is the popular way. You'll hear it a lot. Oftentimes people say, oh, it's a buzzword, but it is a concept in security as well as a marketing term, and it is much more popular than webs are.
Because like all systems, the more complicated a system gets, and web of trust is a system, the more vulnerable it becomes.
Right.
In concept, it's really good, but when you start executing the concept, holes pop up all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, a big issue could, someone gets access to the network. There are a lot of ways that you can spoof who you are on a network. Makes it very easy once you're in to get access to things you're not supposed to have access to. Whereas zero trust, you get into the network, well, you still have to authenticate somehow. So it puts up an extra barrier for people where they have to go find some credentials to use, or they have to find some other way in. Anything you can do to kind of put down a stumbling block in front of attackers is good. So webs are not a popular choice these days.
Good. Thanks, Andrew.
Sure.
Here. Okay, Andre DeGoyer says he's having trouble getting Google Play Store to work on his Raspberry Pi with Android. No luck yet. So what I've found is I've done 2 things because I too have had a little trouble. The problem is there's not much Play Store that says I'm ready to work on a Raspberry Pi platform. So it's got to be very generic to be able to work on this code that's written as an overlay that obscures the Raspberry Pi hardware. Not going to dive that deep into it. Let's do this. One thing, of course, you go to play.google.com using the browser that's part of that Android installation. Go find an app. This is the one that I found and tested with and made it work. And that was the Craigslist app. So when you go to install it, it says, hey, you're not signed in. And so you have to sign in with a Google account, and then you'll be able to download it. And I downloaded it and installed it, same thing. And it doesn't work fully. And I think I figured out why. I'm using a totally hardwired connection, and I think it only wants to talk through Wi-Fi because it always expects to communicate wirelessly on a phone or on a tablet. But the other thing that I did was kind of interesting. I went and found this same app online, and I set up the setting in Android on the Raspberry Pi in the LineageOS to allow it to download apps from exterior sources. There's a special name for it. I forgot the name already, but I do it on all my Android devices, and downloaded it and installed it from there. And it worked right off the bat. So yes, I too am having some early problems with, excuse me, Play Store working the way it's supposed to. But if there's an app that you really want, you can get it outside. Every app that's on Play Store is out there on some other site. And the other thing is, the whole point of that exercise was to provide an Android platform that people could learn what they need to learn in preparation for passing either of the current A pluses, 220 10.0x or 220 11.0x. And installing an app is not part of that criteria. So that you can or can't, if you can't, if it's something you want to do and you really want to turn your machine into an Android machine. But as far as using it as a study aid, doesn't hurt you not to be able to do that. Sahil Stark. Sahil Stark. Mr. David, I have a question for someone who's new to IT and wants to get into cybersecurity. If I have the A plus, should I jump directly into Security Plus or should I get Network Plus? Thank you. So if you had asked me a little differently, I would have a different answer for you. If you have the A plus, let me answer the question that you're asking first of all. That's only fair. Should you get Network Plus before Sec Plus? The general consensus of all of us within Total and most of the people here who have achieved Sec Plus is that you should get Network Plus. It's mandatory. We are looking at someone who took Sec at Plus and passed it before getting Net Plus. And the certification, okay? If you have a good foundation on networking, ports and protocols, that'll get you to and through Security Plus. Had you asked me the other question, I have no background, I want to do CyberSec, and I'm going to use Sec Plus as my stepping stone, what should I take? I probably would not have recommended A plus. Straight plus. A plus is nice. A plus is useful. It's good foundation and it makes learning Net Plus easier. But if you don't have it, going straight into Net Plus isn't the hardest thing in the world. You a strong foundation. Where are you at on that, Andrew?
I agree with that. Actually, I think it's a good point about, you know, if you already know you want to be in cybersecurity. I agree. I think A plus, again, good. Got a lot of good foundation, but there's a lot of things on A plus that you really aren't going to need. Like, it's good to know, you know, you should absolutely know how your CPU works and how it interacts with your RAM. And there are things you need to know about RAM in cybersecurity, but that gets, the RAM comes back into the picture later in your cybersecurity career is when you need to start thinking about RAM, when you're trying to dump, you know, databases that are stored in RAM, which is, I just learned was a thing, or, you know, you want to, you know, you're dumping out, you know, hashes that are stored in RAM, you know, using Mimikatz or something. That becomes much later. Yeah, Network Plus is, if you're just starting out, got A plus, go Net Plus. I didn't. I actually kind of regret that. You know, I'm taking Net Plus now to fill in knowledge gaps because I went straight to Security Plus that I would not have if I had done them in order. So I personal experience, I recommend doing them in order if you're going to do all three. And like Dave said, if you already know you want cybersecurity, you may be able to get away with skipping A plus altogether.
Well, you know, thank you, sir. Oh, let's see. I'll do this. Don Rodinga wants to know which app I was creating on Raspberry. Creating an app. I am creating hardware. The shortages are killing me, and I'll give it away because I've started most of the patent work on it now, so that the patent has been identified and is under construction. I am protected. What I'm doing is creating a little board. It's about yay big. I don't know. It's a little smaller than a Raspberry Pi Zero, probably about this size. And the problem that I'm trying to solve is the fact that I've got this Raspberry Pi here that I use for development. And I am constantly powering it down, pulling the micro SD card out of it, putting it into its place, and then putting another micro SD card in there and powering it up. Wouldn't it be cool if I had a box that had 2 or more micro SD cards in it, and I could select which one I wanted to boot from? Well, okay, that would be cool. And I thought, let's design a board that's got 2. Hey, wait a minute, I'm swapping 5 out of this thing. So then I thought, all right, well, there's another opportunity here. I could make a board that goes to the Raspberry Pi on one side and has 1 or 2, not 1, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 selectables. I don't want to have that much product differentiation. That's a marketing challenge. So I designed the board in such a way that it's got 1 connection to the Raspberry Pi and 2 slots for micro SD cards. But the cable and connector system that I'm using says I could use it as an extender, an expander, and take another cable out of here to another board. I've got another Cooper in there. So I could use 3 boards and have 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, 2 boards, 3, 2 boards, each with 2 micro SD cards. They're plugged into the 3rd board. So it's a way of having a lot of selectable micro SD cards to boot from without having to pull them and put them in constantly. You still have to do it sooner or later, but it's making it easier. They're not going to be expensive. The hardware is very inexpensive, but getting the hardware right now. In fact, I'm stuck on one single stupid thing right now. I have to have the cables custom made. It is off the shelf. The circuit boards are designed and all that, but I just can't find a custom cable maker with whom I'm happy and can deliver product and on all the things that happen along that. So I'm thinking that's probably going to happen end of the year, early next year before we get prototypes out, but it'll be cool. Hey, Kathleen Stevens, got my first tech job. Thank you for all your help. You are most welcome.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Excellent work. Very nice.
Aloha. Thank you, my friend. Isaac, studying CompTIA A+. What should I study for after my A+? Cybersec, grad student, additional context. Nothing. Get a job. Find out what that job needs. You don't collect certifications because you think they're going to be helpful for a particular job. Research the job and find out what certifications they want you to have, and that's what you pick. Okay, A+, great foundation. Not something for someone pursuing a cybersec degree, because you're not going to be hands-on inside computers, installing RAM, popping out dead hard drives. And that's what A+ teaches you to do. It teaches you a little bit of the underpinnings of the operating system. It's a troubleshooting PC thing. Network Plus, for anybody who's going to pursue cybersec, is a much better starting place. And Sec Plus, Security Plus, isn't a course that teaches you about cybersec. It is a course, it is a certification that exists to expose you to about 10 families of security concepts, from physical security to human resources, to change management, to literal cybersecurity, encryption, and things like that. And then what you do is you say, this is for the people who don't have a career plan in mind. I'm dipping my toe into the water and I have this grand idea about this thing called cybersec. Man, a huge, all-encompassing, massive title. And tell me what that means to you. And that's what Security Plus is supposed to do. It's supposed to introduce you to a whole bunch of really cool aspects of cybersecurity. And from there you say, you know what, I found this one interesting. I'd like to work in that area. Now I know what kind of companies and what kind of job I'm looking for. Now I know what kind of next certification to work for. My soapbox, a little different than Mike's.
Yeah, I mean, I see you say you're a cybersecurity grad student. So that could bring with it a lot of different possibilities. I mean, it depends on what your undergrad was. I mean, if your undergrad was something technical related, well, then you're going to be way more equipped to go start looking for something in cybersecurity out of the gate. You're not necessarily going to need Security Plus. I mean, it may help you just kind of check boxes in the, the AI that goes through resumes. But now, if it's a grad degree that you're doing kind of as a second career path, some people go and they get a degree. Well, Security Plus may still be kind of beneath where you are. So it kind of depends on what your background is already. And also, Dave makes a good point, like, where do you want to go in cybersecurity? I mean, a lot of grad programs that I've looked into, and I've looked into a few, I'm doing a degree myself, a bachelor's in software development and security. And I've looked at cybersecurity grad programs, and a lot of them seem to focus more on high levels of policy, governance, and risk management. Those kind of jobs, I do some risk management work for a consulting company, and Security Plus helps. But if you've got a grad degree in that kind of subject, they're not going to care that you have Security Plus. You're already at a level where you can start looking for some of the more risk management and governance type certs that are specialized in that, if certs are your goal. But I would start job hunting. I mean, if you have time to do that, get a job and do that while you're doing the degree. And if not, I would focus on the degree, to be honest with you. Don't worry about an extra cert now. Otherwise, you're just splitting your attention, and doing well in your grad program is probably going to give you more valuable information at the level you'll enter the workforce at than Security Plus will.
Keep cooking. I'm looking something up here real quick. I'll get that vSphere question.
Okay, yeah, I don't have an answer for that one. I've never used either one. Eric Killingsworth, this is a good question. How do you all feel about the initiative to push for a passwordless authentication system, and what are the potential security ramifications if that became the norm? That is a great question. I love that.
Did you see the article that I posted on one of
Yeah, I was reading something about it this morning, actually.
a treatise on it about 10 days ago?
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it until earlier this morning. Look, I mean, it's an interesting idea. And phishing is a problem. Credential theft is a huge problem, and it's hitting companies all the time. I don't know what the percentages are, but it has to be a massive percentage of cyber attacks happen because of breached credentials from something like phishing. Social engineering that's what it's for. So in that regard, it will cut down on certain types of cyber attacks. But I think what a lot of people it might get lost in the discussion is that anytime you introduce or apply some technology, whether it's pre-existing to a new use case or it is brand new, that will open the floor for people to come up with ways to attack it. So yeah, it's going to make it difficult to steal credentials, phishing. That's going to make that harder. But people will find a way in, and they'll find weaknesses in that authentication system. Personally, I'm a bit of a privacy nut when it comes to the internet. I've become more and more as I got more into cybersecurity. And I don't like the idea of my login being completely contingent on facial recognition software working or my fingerprint. And I certainly don't like the idea some people have proposed of device PIN numbers. That's a terrible idea. A friend of ours, Michael Smyer, told me a story recently about how he managed to get logged in. Somebody locked themselves out, forgot their swipe code. They used the swipe method. And he was able to figure out the swipe pattern by looking at the fingerprint grease on the screen. People who want to get in will find a way in. So I like the idea of having my password belonging to me, because Google doesn't have my actual password. They have a hash. My password, they don't know, theoretically, they're not supposed to, what my password is. So I still do own my own means of authentication. But so I don't love it, but I do see where it has some beneficial applications, particularly in an enterprise setting where it needs to be more standardized. Personally, I wouldn't want to use it.
The problem with this is it's a good idea, and it always starts out good. It starts out strong, and then the hackers start working on it, and it was just another good idea that probably won't work out.
Right.
Big consortium, Microsoft and Google and a couple of the other major names are all trying to create this standard. And there might have been a time when there were real rocket scientists in the 60s who were insane brain trusts who could come up with this all-encompassing thing. But there is this pervasive tendril-like social aspect that gets into everything right now, modifies these wonderful altruistic intents. I don't think it's going to succeed. I think they're going to implement it and it will fail.
Yeah.
Okay, Don Odinga asked, what's the big difference between VMware's vSphere, VMware's vCenter? Okay, so it's a huge difference. vSphere is a hypervisor. It's designed to run pre-created VMware compliant virtual machines. The problem with vSphere, if there is a problem, is you can't create a new virtual machine with that. You need one of their other VMware eSXi products, ESXIs. Let's say you've got vSphere running though, it's hypervising, it's managing some virtual machine, and you want to make a change to the configuration of it. No big deal. You log into the hypervisor, you do your business. Oh, I want to make that same change to another vSphere hypervised virtual machine that I got running. Got to log into it. And for all the other vSphere instances you've got going on, got to log into that. And any other VMware hypervisor product, got to log into that. Well, that's where vCenter comes in. vCenter is a server and an application product that you log into it. It's already logged into hypervisors that you've authorized it to. And now you just click on the VM or hypervisor that you want to do. You're already logged in. You do make your changes here. So it's a central login and management point for all of the VMware hypervisors that you've got running. Not something you're going to run into on any CompTIA exam at this time. They don't have anything that's VMware specific. Pelowit likes Venezuelan beaver cheese. Savage, I did join Discord. Oh, what's the channel? Funny, you should ask that. At time mark 2:18, I posted the invitation link to the unofficial Total Seminars Discord server, UTSD. And I encourage you all to join up over there. I'm over there. I don't post much anymore. I'm busy and I'm trying to keep my footprint low. There's a lot of people who are making a huge footprint, and more power to them. As a result, I'm going to back off and say I don't need to do that. But if you want to talk to me, or if something comes up that's of particular interest to me, I will certainly respond. I think I'm David Rush. I don't think I'm D-Rush TX, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the Green Abyss over there. I actually haven't been on much lately either. I've been also busy. But I am on there, and you can ping me. I'm usually have Discord on, so I'm just not usually checking the channels, and but that's that'll wind down. I'll be around more often in the fairly near future.
Sounds good. I'm going to do a screen share here and do a little shareage. Go over here first. All right, so there's the link that's posted at 2:18 in the chat channel. 2:18 that's the beginning of the hour of the show. It doesn't change. We used to have one that changed week to week. Doesn't do that anymore. Come on over. There's a lot of stuff going on that Discord server. It's very interesting and it's very broad. Lots of stuff. Also posted at the same time, specials for the week. We have specials that are available only to you folks who are so nice to watch Mike's show and my show on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays at 2 o'clock Central Time on this very same channel. You create your own e-bundle. Start by going over to totalsem.com, go to our merchant area, and you can create a bundle of 2 items, an ebook and our Total Tester online practice test. Yes, we are giving away Tester online practice test today in very short order. So if you're interested in any of these certifications, these are the ones for which we have both products. So you find yourself an ebook that's for one of these, you find yourself the Total Tester for the same one of these, and then when you check out, use the code HIRES, HIRES. And that will get you 50% off of those 2 items in there. Somebody asked a question the other day, what if I want the ebook for and the bundle for and for Net Plus? I don't know. Couldn't figure it out. And do it as a separate purchase. That solves all problems. All right, is there something else I wanted to share yet here on official? No. Shrinky dink.
This is interesting. I want to touch on something. Eric Killingsworth gave some good advice to Suhail Stark, and I wanted to kind of reiterate it, but expand that out because I think it applies to Isaac as well, who asked the question, who's in the cybersecurity grad degree. Eric advised that Suhail and people who are pursuing security should also consider learning a little bit about a scripting language like Python and how to read log files. Absolutely. Okay. One thing sometimes, and I'm guilty of this too, is you get caught up in certs, getting certs, which is great. Certs are good, but skills are also good. And certs don't really necessarily teach you skills. And if you can go into an interview and you have, I don't know, a network plus, but you know some Python, and then they start asking you questions and you know how to talk a little shop, then they ask you about Wireshark and that's going to probably get you the job much more likely than just having Security Plus will. If you get into that interview and you brushed your teeth that morning and got a haircut and put on some actual clothes and have a nice conversation and you can talk shop and you know what you're talking about from a hands-on perspective, that's going to take you far. So Python, PowerShell, Ruby, Bash, take your pick. Scripting language, absolutely. And logs, yeah, tools like Wireshark, Nessus, all great things that you can learn. You can learn them for free. There's community editions of all of these. Wireshark's baked right into Kali Linux as well. So yeah, get your hands dirty on some of this stuff, even if it's just at a hobbyist level. That's what the Friday show's all about, is getting your hands dirty with projects where you can look the interviewer in the eye and know you didn't do it professionally, but you do know how Wireshark works and how to look at it. That's going to be way more vital than any cert that you're going to get, especially at an entry level where they don't want to have to teach you everything. So if you can take some of that off their plate, they're going to be happy people.
And Wireshark's available for Windows, for every version of Linux out there.
Everywhere.
Our archives, how to install and use it on a Raspberry Pi. It's a lot of fun.
That was great advice, Eric. Absolutely. You're 100% right.
Sahil did a follow-up at 22. Okay, he's going to hop on Network Plus. Sounds good. And it says, I'm sorry to ask this question, but first of all, don't be sorry to ask any question here. If we hate
question.
Oh yeah, but this is a question that gets asked a lot, and you weren't here when we've answered it in the past and when Mike's answered it. So, and does it make a difference if someone went for CCNA instead of Network Plus, since it holds more value? Okay, so you built in what I believe to be a false premise into that question. It does not hold more value. One value in one area, one holds value in another area. One is not more valuable than the other. So CCNA is two elements. It is networking, ports, protocols, physical layer, wiring, layer 2, the whole, everything you need to know about networking. Oh, wait a minute. So is Net Plus. In fact, they're identical for those two aspects of it. And then what CCNA does is it's a second half that teaches you how to use Cisco's programming language, its control language, iOS. So if you anticipate that you're going to be in an environment where you have to work with and program Cisco gear, then CCNA is right for you. You're going to find yourself in a world with all kinds of platforms with Junipers and HPs and Ciscos. They're pretty similar, so it doesn't matter really what you want to do. Our usual recommendation is take Network Plus, learn networking. They do a better job of teaching networking, and the objectives in Network Plus are broader and better. Then if you choose to go pursue CCNA, you've already got 95% of the Network Plus side done, and all you got to do is focus on the Cisco specific side.
Yeah, and I've done some asking out and about, just, I'm always curious. I, talk to people on LinkedIn a lot, and generally speaking, unless the job is specifically a Cisco job, CompTIA and Cisco are both names that people recognize. So if it's not a Cisco specific job, it's just a network administration job, and there's nothing about Cisco. They're going to know what CCNA is. They're going to know what Network Plus is. And both of them demonstrate that you possess a level of networking knowledge that potentially or should qualify you for the role. So yeah, I would agree with Dave. And I think that, you know, the vendor neutral aspect is also maybe better to go for first. And then if you decide you're going to work with Cisco, get your employer to pay for it.
Steve G from the land of maple syrup, toques, and baby seal skins. Steve G, this is the first time that I've ever seen you pop in and not say, I'm from Canada. So, because we know. I can tell, by the way, when you post how you say sorry. And they horked our clothes, eh? That reference.
I hear Canadian spoken all the time around the house. It's weird. My wife is Canadian, guys, so I speak Canadian too.
And your trip to Houston has been delayed, but looking forward to August. Wait a minute. Are you on dope? I just put that together. Have you seen or heard anything about Houston in August?
Yeah, I'll be all right. I lived in Jerusalem, remember?
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, I lived in the Middle East. I'll be able to handle it for a few days.
Humidity and 114 Fahrenheit every single freaking day. Okay, lots of people checking in on this conversation. Don's in there about it. Brian's in there about it. Right. So Don says CCNA very Cisco specific, right? Net Plus vendor neutral, but both are good certs to be sure. CCNA is easy to learn. Those are words, each of which I understand individually, but you never hear them strung together.
I don't think I have. Yeah.
I agree with you. If you have a basic fundamental understanding of networking and you just look at it, it's not too tough to learn, but you take a newbie who's got no or limited network experience and drop him in a CCNA class.
They're going to
bury him in weeks.
Yeah, they're going to be stressed out pretty quick if they do that.
Okay.
There's my wife down there, Alexandra, saying the hashtag with a Canadian accent. Sorry.
Hey, well, it's 42 minutes past the hour. We got about 18 minutes of showtime left. I think we ought to give some away, Andrew.
I think it's time to give something away.
And you know, I got the answer and the question on the back channel because I'm just that kind of guy.
Nice.
Yeah, I went Mike route this time. I decided Mike always wants to do one from Total Tester or from one of the courses. So I picked one from one of the courses. Let me, well, okay, so we're going to give away 90-day access to any Total Tester online product that we have. A+, Net+, Sec+, lots of other CompTIA pluses, AWS classes, whatever else we've got. It's in there. All you got to do is check out the go to totalsem.com, go see what is in our Total Tester Online. And if you win today, you will get to select one of those things and you will send me an email today so that I can get that thing out. I have, by the way, let me sidetrack for just a second here. I have two people who have won relatively recently and have not contacted me. Once you win, the ball is in your court. You must contact me. Hang on, let me do something here. Total Tester winner right there. Save that. Okay, so way back on May 2nd, YouTube name Brennan, who I haven't seen since, he won a Total Tester Online. After this Friday, if I haven't heard from you, I'm gonna pull you out of the database as a winner. You can win again some other time. And just this past Friday on my show, Drama, 513, Chris Doherty, who have not yet heard from you. You may have sent it and they wound up in a spam bucket or something like that, but I couldn't find them in any of our recipients. So please send me contact information that you want. So you don't sit on them forever. If you haven't collected or contacted me within 2 weeks, it evaporates and you get to fight for it again. All right, so the contest is we're going to put up a multiple choice question. There will be 4 answer choices. I don't use A, B, C, or D. I just write the choices, and that's what you're going to do. You're going to type in the answer. They're short and quick and easy. And The person that we adjudicate collectively between Andrew and I as the one who got the right answer, or the one that makes us believe it's right, will win 90-day free access to Total Tester Online of your choice. There's something else I wanted to say there. I've already let it drop. All right, so enough banter. Let's just do it. Oh, got to do this too. Hey, for anybody who's tracking, this is something that I do. I fired up a Raspberry Pi some time ago, and I am just keeping it running. I've had Raspberry Pis run for years. My Pi hole has been running, not quite for years because I had a problem. I had to reboot it last year, but I got Pi devices that are running for years. So I've decided to do that with this one. It's the one that I hooked up my OLED screen to. So I took a picture of the OLED screen today. This shows the uptime in seconds. So 3.4 million seconds since the last time I rebooted it. That's fun. All right, let's get into La Questione. Here goes. Today's question of the day. Let me see if I can zoom that and make the text a little bigger. I don't know if that'll help, but in Windows, what gives a PC an IP address in the absence of DHCP? I guess I screen captured it, but you got to put in an answer, either DNS or IPv6 or ARP or APIPA. And I'll give that a couple minutes for people to put that in. You get one guess. And if you've won in the past, you can win again. But if you won a lot in the past, I'm going to lean towards somebody who has not won so frequently. By the way, the interface that you're looking at is our Total Tester Online product. It looks and acts almost exactly like CompTIA exams. The only difference is we did it in green, they did it in blue. Well, that's not the only difference, but you get the idea. So in Windows, what gives PC an IP address in the absence of DHCP? There's another answer, but it's not in this list. That's what CompTIA does with their tricky questions. They don't give you the most obvious answer, so you got to pick the best answer of what's left. Let me shrink that down and see what kind of answer activity we got going on. Oh, good. Lots of people answering. Lots of people answering. Okay, a few differentiated answers here. Oh, I see a name that I have never seen in the winner list before. Check that winner list real quick. Over on this page. Yes, that's the one I'm seeing. It's probably somebody who's won before and just changed their name. Okay, could not find that. I do not show this as a previous winner. So the right answer, let me show that to you back in the screen share. This is kind of cool. This is one of the things that you can do with Total Tester Online is get help during the exam. I configured this one with assistance. So when I click the assistance button, it gives me questions about what kind of assistance I want. Just a little reference, check my answer, see the whole explanation. So the correct answer is a PIPA in Windows. If it calls out for a DHCP server and it doesn't get a response, the default reaction is for it to generate an automatic private IP address. Remember what that starts with, right? 169.254.something.something. That's how you can tell. And a PIPA address. Who was that? I didn't say the name. Rojas. Yeah, Miguel Rojas, you are today's winner. Congratulations. Andrew, you're going to post the how to claim?
If you could do, I'm having an issue. It's not letting me post things to the chat for some reason. It's kicking them back. So.
Yeah. Did I save that? Let me see what, no, I didn't. I got it right here. 14 seconds. Sorry about the delay. Special, there it is, winner. Save that. Miguel. Okay, Miguel Rojas, I have just posted the instructions on how to claim your prize. I'm going to put them up on the screen as well, so as you can see it and read it. What I want you to do is copy and paste what I put in the chat so that you will know exactly and be able to fill in order the things that I need in order to get your prize, which probably happen on Monday. It usually happens on the Monday of the following week. Let me get my screen sharer up here. There it is. Click, click. What you're going to do is you're going to send me an email, dave@totalsem.com. In the body of the email, you're going to include your YouTube name, Miguel Rojas, your real name. If it's the same, type it in again. If it's different, type it in differently. The email address that you want us to send your access credentials to, and which Total Tester Online you would like by the name of the test that you're going to take. So if it's an CompTIA test, maybe it's 220-1001 or 220-1002. Don't say A+. I got 4 different A+ out there to pick from. Don't say Network Plus. There's 2 of them. Now, the cool thing about if you ask for 220-1001, you'll also get 1002. We bundle those ones together, but we don't bundle any of the other ones together. And of course, there's multiple A+. We got the 220-11 series. Those questions aren't posted yet, but they will be in short order. You get the idea. So congratulations, Miguel Rojas. 90 days. Not being Mike. Mike has been giving away 2 every day, but he didn't say, Dave, go ahead and give away 2. So I'm just giving away 1 today. But we'll see what happens on Wednesday. If Mike isn't going to be here, I'll ask him permission to give 2. And I'll similarly, if I don't, I'll ask permission to give away 2 on my show on Friday. So if you didn't win today, it's no big deal. We give away 3 to 5 of these. How are we doing here? We got another 9 minutes to show.
I just banned some spam bot. That was nice.
Thank you. Oh man, yeah, I see that. Goodness gracious.
Yup.
Right,
Here's a question. Another one from Suhail Stark. Ooh, this is my type of question. I love this. Okay, so what is the ethical hacking cert that holds the most value in your eyes? Like, what should be the cert that I eventually go for? Not just to impress HR, but mostly for the knowledge it encompasses. All right, that's a good question. If you can only get one, get the OSCP. There are a bunch of certs out there. There's a CEH, there's Pentest Plus. There's another one that's coming up called the PNPT, which I also like quite a bit, but it just hasn't gotten the recognition out in the market for me to suggest it over OSCP. There's the EJPT. There are a bunch of them out there. But the OSCP is the one that I think out of all of the certs that are available gives you the best combination of like actual hands-on and knowledge. Pentest Plus is great because you don't have to spend a whole lot of money to get it, and it really does test your knowledge. But that's what it is. It's a knowledge test. They're not having you go hack some system and capture a flag or, you know, write up a report to show that you know what you're doing. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good hacker, but it means you know about hacking. The CEH is kind of like that too, with a little bit more hands-on, but it's losing popularity. And it's also really, really expensive. It's a for-profit, you know, operation, and you can only use their study materials. OSCP, HR departments love it. Other hackers love it. You won't love it while you're studying for it, from what I understand, or taking it, but you'll love having it because a lot of people that I know who are into hacking, that's like the gold standard. When they pass the OSCP, that's that milestone that, like, for a hacker, it's like getting your college diploma almost. Some people act like. So I would say the OSCP, in my eyes, has the most value because of that versatility, but any one of them will serve you well, but I would go with OSCP.
Out to your expertise on this. This one's above and beyond my field. Tullowit, I will talk to you about your idea in the Batcave. That'll be cool. But I like the kvetching.
South African wine in exchange for a voucher.
Ekash is here, always looking to dump. You know what? You're always offering the South African wine. I am starting to think that you're trying to dump it off. I'm not sure you're trying to do us a favor here.
Question.
Kidding. South African wines out there. In fact, Nikash, no, I'm not going to do this joke. It was going to be a joke about South African winers. You are not a whiner by any stretch, Nikash. Okay, but I do like what you mentioned there. People come here often, especially lately, to get a voucher. and we haven't had vouchers for a little while. CompTIA changed their program and cut it off for a while. And this freaked Mike out. And so I was in the office when it happened, and what? Get me such and such on the phone. And he got such and such on the phone, and they arranged for a longer conversation. And I didn't hear what the conversation was at the time. But a few days later, somebody asked him about it on the chat feed, and he said that he was confident that the program would return. That's, you know, we all nodded and okay, cool. And then I went over to the office. Tell me about this confidence, will you? And I can't tell you, but I understand why he's confident. The program will return. So we will be giving away vouchers again. Mike is swamped with the big news surprise stuff that's going to get announced on the 6th of next month. Mike will be speaking at a conference next month in San Francisco. When he's done his speech there, there'll be public discussion of that, and then all kinds of information is going to be released, and we will be talking about it. So, excuse me.
The conference in question is RSA. So any of you guys who are into cybersecurity, they, as far as I know, they live stream a lot of the talks and stuff. So if you've got some time over the course of those few days, I'd actually recommend take a look, you know, see what they're putting out there, what kind of learning opportunities. You get a feel for some of the things that go on in the industry. So just a side recommendation since the RSA is coming up here.
Okay, right. All right, well, we're winding things down here. 4 or 5 minutes of show left. I did that already. I like that, Savage Cabbage. Get me the president of CompTIA in my office right away. They're old friends, so it'd probably be a little friendlier call than that. And I don't think you had to go all the way up to the food chain of president. Every organization like ours, we are a CompTIA partner. So we have a person in CompTIA who is our interface into the guts of CompTIA. And I don't think I'll give away his name, but get me Fred on the phone. And we are always talking about here. Cyber Mondays is Alexandra. All right, well, I got nothing else. Andrew, anything you want to add for today?
No, nothing jumps out. I think that covers it.
Well, congratulations again, Miguel Rojas. We all hope that Mike gets better soon. We'll find out on Wednesday whether or not that happened. Either way, a show will happen. Catch my show. I'm getting there, Donna Dinga. People are starting to memorize my shutdown link, and I am doing my shutdown speech because I like it. Oh man, I muted the Discord servers for 3 hours, just over 3 hours ago, and so they're not muted, and I'm hearing the wonking already, which means knock it off, Tullowit, knock it off.
Real quick, Suhail, why don't you, if you want to hop on the Discord and put that question up there, I'll be on the Discord channel to answer live for a little while. And if not, you can either send me a message or put it up in the Discord channel. We'll be able to get you, because that's a more complicated question, because that requires some questions about what you're doing, how much time you have. So I can't really necessarily answer that in full without some more info from you, but I can answer that to you with some more information. So please send me a message on Discord or an email. andrewh@totalsem.com, and I'll be happy to try to talk you through some of that.
I just posted the Discord invitation link at 58 minutes past the hour, and again the special deals link with this week's discount code HIRES, HIRES. I will explain that as I always do on Friday on my drama show where the code word comes from. But if you want to research it yourself, you look up the word HIRES and you look up today's date. I always use Monday's date and a keyword of something that happened on that date in history. You can do it yourself. All right, let me bring up the stuff that I need to bring up in order for things to get closed down. Thank you all for coming as ever and always. Very sorry again that Mike couldn't make it here. I do thank Mike Meyers, Andrew Hutz for both his back channel work and for his co-host. Thanks, Andrew. You were great as ever.
Glad to do it. Good time.
Total, who generously provides us resources and time. And most of all, our most heartfelt thanks goes out to you and everyone who come here to participate. Without you guys, there is no show. I am Dave Rush. This is Andrew Hutz. We're sitting in for Mike Meyers today. I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars. resident pie specialist, wishing you, oh, I'm not wishing you a great weekend. How about a great week? Take care of each other, take serious steps, call or visit your parents, and never forget, technology is great, but the greatest resource we have are you and I. And with that, good night. See you guys over on Discord. I'll pop in for a couple of minutes on Discord and Wednesday AMA. Till then, I am out of here. And for Don Odinga, this presentation was recorded before a live audience. No animals were hurt during the production of this program. Bye-bye. Awesome, Andrew.